Every day, I literally see clueless posts and questions about the Wu flu, so I decided to make this video. I had to go back and update the video 3 times while I was making it because new information became available. So I do apologize if it seems a little fragmented at times. With that said, let's just jump straight into a video that is guaranteed to get demonetized on upload. Hopefully, everybody's been drinking lots of orange juice and staying hydrated. If you've been with me for a while, or if you recently just got here, it's probably pretty obvious that the purpose of this channel is for me to overanalyze things and discuss or even just vent about these things. So, in that tradition, let's just sit back and enjoy some memes while the world burns in the apocalypse. While everyone was panic buying and hoarding toilet paper, I feel the need to remind everyone that toilet paper does not cure nor prevent the Wu flu. You could possibly build a fort out of the TP and practice social distancing, but as far as I know, it doesn't affect the digestive tract, so I'm not really sure what all that's about or who told everyone that's what they needed. So, as I'm sure you all know, Los Angeles, and now I think all of the US has basically declared a mass quarantine, kind of a soft reboot of martial law, where it went from a voluntary stay at home, which of course nobody did,
I get corona, I get corona. At the end of the day, I'm not going to let it stop me from partying.
to you can now go out for food and medicine, but if you're out without a reason, like loitering, you can be arrested. I hear that some guy got arrested in Los Angeles for violating the quarantine, but I can't find any proof of it. I even checked with law enforcement. Now, on the plus side, it looks like the National Guard will be coming to help out. You know why the National Guard normally is called out, right? Well, I'll give you a clue. It has mandatory curfews and is enforced with firearms. I was sent a news article saying that the DOJ pretty much wants to suspend all of your constitutional rights while Corona Chan is running her course. Now, at the same time, non essential businesses like beauty salons, craft stores, and gyms are being ordered to shut down. Prisons are discussing being emptied of low level criminals or people with less than a year left to serve. Some states in the East Coast are discussing stopping enforcement of misdemeanor crimes altogether and some felonies. So it'll be illegal to open your store, but 100% legal to shoplift from it. Also, Los Angeles' governor has threatened to shut off power and water to all non essential businesses that haven't already shut down. The problem here is that 99% of businesses are considered small and drive a large part of the economy, especially on a regional level. Also, a lot of small businesses are capable of being operated by a single person. So, in the middle of editing the video, I had to go back to the drawing board for an update. Trump's stimulus package was finally passed, and of course, now the libtard media is spinning the stall like it was the Dems trying to keep the orange man from giving himself all the monies. But Nancy Pelosi, she stuffed the stimulus relief bill full of far left agendas like tax credit for solar energy and windmills. Another idea the left discussed was business loans rather than a stimulus package. So it pretty much looks like we could be going into the purge territory. Hopefully, you not only got TP, but some of those metal projectiles and something to put them in, because things are looking like they could get crazy out there pretty soon. Now, hopefully, everyone was paying attention to your local weatherman and knew the storm was coming. I literally scooped up the last two P95s in my area, which will come in handy for standing in 3 hour lines at Costco like we were waiting to go on to the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland on the first weekend of summer vacation. I was able to grab essentials including hand sanitizer and butt paper before all the normies that listened to the fake stream media freaked out and literally bought everything, including free weights. Because the gyms are closed. And on a side note, the weights that are available at the time of recording this are either way overpriced or ship in a month or two, or like everything else right now, is just gone. This is the pet food aisle at my local ball sack mart last time I went. A hilarious meme I saw was that 911 operators were being plagued by calls of people in need of toilet paper. This was hilarious to me, so I actually asked an emergency services worker if people really were calling about TP. And while the answer for that was no, they did report to me that there was a major increase in calls reporting shortness of breath and or not being able to breathe at all. Now, while I'm sure some of these could be psychosomatic, not all of them are. Can you guys please stop with the TP hoarding? Seriously. Okay, it was funny at first, but now it's just sad. Costco trucks have to have police escorts because there are literally highway robbers stopping the trucks and robbing them. The government hadn't said anything yet, and the panic buying started. The second they said something, every store was empty. People are acting like the police have been disbanded and now there's highway robbery again, like we're driving around in horse and buggies. This right here is why the government will never tell us about the aliens. There could be a bunch of hippie aliens that wanted to come down here and give us space flowers and the cure for cancer, and you would go full Rodney King verdict and start destroying the city and looting. I was not happy with anyone's decision to not immediately announce a pandemic and shut all the borders down. And holy crap, what a nightmare that would have been. Since nobody can even handle not having exactly what they want when they want it. Well, strap in because no jobs and empty shelves is just a dry run of what the Bernie Sanders presidency would look like. Apparently, a bunch of you motherfuckers out there think we've gone full lawless society already. The freeways here in California are more dangerous than ever because of people going over 90 miles an hour on the reg. This is due in part to the roads being way more open than normal and idiots thinking law enforcement has stopped, which it hasn't, except in Philadelphia. Add a good serving of day drinking to that mix, and you get an increased rise in accidents, injuries, and fatalities. This isn't that bad. Shit's closed and you have to stay home. Yeah, it's boring, but it could be a hell of a lot worse. You still have utilities and gas for the cars you're driving like ass clowns. This is why we can't have nice things. So, anyway, this was all sourced through emergency services. Today, I saw one of the most asinine posts I've seen, including how the US being screwed by the Wu flu should make us be nice to refugees. What? This individual said that he wanted rich people to pay for his face masks because he didn't want to die for the stock market. Where do I even start with this? First off, the stock market has nothing to do with masks. Rich people can't pay for your masks because the demand for masks is way in excess of the supply. Masks are given to healthcare workers first because they're literally in constant danger. Our friends in the Far East took a large portion of our masks and supplies to help cover its needs. This is a worldwide problem, and it will take months to provide the literally billions of masks needed. Companies are giving masks away, so no, rich people can't pay for your masks because there are no masks to buy. It's too late. If you don't have a mask or a respirator, you're probably going to be really lucky to get one now. If you do have a respirator, you're going to be damn lucky to get new filters for it. Now, why don't you just fashion a crude mask out of the toilet paper that you're hoarding? Sorry, got a little worked up there. Just been in the house a little too long. Getting a little bit of the old cabin fever here. A source that works in the medical field told me that the curve is starting, as in people are currently becoming symptomatic, which makes sense with Corona Chan having a 14 to 30-day incubation period, so it's probably going to actually get worse. At this point, you can't say it's nothing or it's just the flu, bro, because the government's seen enough to shut it all down. And in my opinion, the only place that got it right was North Korea. Kimmy closed everything up the second he saw it coming. They're even holding mail and packages for something like 10 days to disinfect them. We trusted China's number, and that was probably a mistake, as they were probably rounded down, way down. You don't lock down an entire country for no big deal or because someone ate bad soup. And on that subject, do you remember when it was racist to talk about bat soup? But now it's racist to call it Kung Flu or the Chinese virus, yet it originated at a wet market in Wuhan, China, and came from a bat? It just makes you wonder why our fake stream media is suddenly so concerned about China's reputation. Could it be China is paying the dinosaur media money to control the narrative? I mean, put yourself in China's place. You're a new first world country and you just released a pandemic on the world that very possibly could be a man-made bioweapon, as a biolab was roughly 8 miles from the wet market where it started. So rather than lose first world status and have the entire world refuse to do business with you, become the victim of racism. Call anyone racist that says the disease came from your country, even though it did. Now, China is trying to say America is to blame for the virus. Now, remember in the 80s when the media told everyone that HIV/AIDS was a green monkey disease, one that pretty much started in the gay population, and we just accepted it? Like, oh yeah, green monkey disease, and now people have it. Wait a minute. Comedian Sam Kinison did a joke about that exact subject I surely cannot share with you here, but it's the rubber love routine on his Have You Seen Me Lately album. USA #1, as we have the most confirmed Wu flu cases in the world, somehow even more than China. Maybe because our friends in the Far East were cooking the books this entire time. A personal source told me that they work with a Chinese man who does business in China and the US. He was going back and forth even during the outbreak, and he told them that the outbreak and conditions were at least 3 times worse than what China was reporting. One of the theories from China of how the disease got loose is that the biolab was testing on animals and they were paying a disposal service to get rid of the contaminated lab animals. The theory is that the workers decided to make a little extra on the side and sold the contaminated lab animals to the wet market.
Says who?
The smelly old Chinese man's son who sold them to me.
There was a post on 4chan or Reddit or something, but basically someone crunched the official numbers made available by our friends in China and found that the fatality number was a bit closer to 7 to 14 million, which even if you cut it down to 1 million, that seems like a more likely number based on how things are going in Italy right now. But I have faith in Italy because the best decisions ever were made there. They embrace diversity. It is our strength, after all. Also, it turns out it's one of China's most popular places to visit. So the ruler of Italy was all, you go hug that Chinese man.
Chinese man!
Make those tourists feel at home. We need that foreign money. Speaking of tourist money, do you remember in Jaws when the mayor refused to shut down Amity Beach because that pesky great white biting folks was just a big old nothing burger? Well, the mayor in Florida must really, really like Jaws. Personally, the ending of Jaws 3 is one of the best moments in cinema, especially in 3D. And speaking of movies, Human Centipede also seems to be quite popular with the spring break kids in Florida.
Hey, are y'all not seeing this? He's like, holy shit.
Oh my god!
He's doing it.
Oh my god! Nobody gives a fuck about Corona.
The Human Centipede!
Nobody gives a fuck about pink eye either.
I get Corona. At the end of the day, I'm not going to let it stop me from partying.
We're here. I just turned 21 this year, so I'm here to party.
Well, it is Florida, so I mean, I don't know what I expected. A friend of a friend returned from traveling to various parts of Asia before it all closed down. And at first, they were trying to return to work, saying, hey, they felt fine and had no issues. Luckily, the company had the foresight to have them do a mandatory 14-day quarantine at home, and a few days into it, they became deathly sick and tested positive for the Kung flu. Hollywood elites like Tom Hanks and his wife are testing positive. Harvey Weinstein supposedly just contracted it in prison. Now, I think this post from a certain bearded Canadian sums that up best. Canadian President Justin Trudeau's wife also tested positive, which makes you think JT probably has it too, but maybe viruses can't pass through blackface. Now, it makes you wonder how all of these elites got the Wu flu in the first place. Well, it definitely was not at one of those eyes wide shut parties. With everyone spreading germs, it's only a matter of time before the coronavirus mutates into the even worse Tecate virus. Like, comment, do all the things, press all the buttons. The channel has been stuck around 2,000 subs for quite a while now, so consider subbing if you haven't. And if you have subbed, make sure you are still subbed. Stay awake, stay alert, stay inside. We are the new counterculture.